So, Toys R Us is shutting down. Now, this is going to be another one of those unscripted videos. I've only made a couple, but my last unscripted video, a few people really enjoyed it. Like, they were telling me that that's probably their favorite video of mine. And I think it's because the unscripted videos are more real, you know, since they're raw. So, Toys R Us is shutting down soon. And what I just, man, it just blows my mind, you know? Toys R Us was like a fairy tale growing up. Basically, I grew up in the early 2000s, late 90s, and that's when Pokemon was booming. Like, Pokemon was like everything. Every kid was into Pokemon. And I basically made all of my friends through Pokemon growing up, especially in like elementary. Now, there would always be these kids with like shiny Pokemon, like Pokemon that you couldn't get. There was always this myth like going around the school like, yo, if you go to Toys R Us, if you go to Toys R Us, you can get any Pokemon you want. And it's like, what? You know, because like Pokemon was life. Like, this was like breaking news. Like, all I gotta do is go to Toys R Us and I can have any Pokemon I want. Like, but it wasn't that easy. Now, the nearest Toys R Us to me is 2 cities away, and I live in a small city where people don't really like to leave the city for some reason. Like, my city, it's the country. One like thing about the country that you need to know is the country traps people, you know? I don't know why, you know, it just traps you. Like, you just can't escape the country. Like, it just traps you there. Traveling all the way to Toys R Us just for some toys or Pokemon, it was just a dream, you know? No parent would be willing to do that for their kid, especially since Walmart, Kmart, you know, and other stores are just across the street, you know? But so I like really wanted to go to Toys R Us. I was so desperate to go to Toys R Us because of all the legends. I don't know if you guys remember this, but like in elementary school, there were always like legends going around the school, like rumors and legends. So the legend about Toys R Us was pretty much there's this giant computer at Toys R Us where you can just hook up your Game Boy SP or Game Boy Advance and you could get any Pokemon that you want from that computer, and all you had to do was pay like $1. And that was pretty much it. So you could get like a shiny Mew or like a shiny Celebi. These impossible Pokemon to get, especially at the time. You still can't get shiny Celebi legit to this day. Alright guys, so I'm going to tell you guys my personal experience with Toys R Us. Now, despite me being a Pokemon kid, I was also really big into wrestling. And when I say wrestling, I mean WWE. Now, a lot of kids were into wrestling, but wrestling was actually like a really big part of my childhood, and I used to collect the action figures. Now, when you're collecting the wrestling action figures, you're typically buying them from like Walmart, Kmart, or like Walgreens. So like once you buy wrestlers from these stores enough, eventually you're gonna start seeing the same wrestlers and you're gonna run out of wrestlers to buy because the stores are pretty much just recycling the same toys. And I even collected like the rings, like the special rings. Like you can buy like Hell in a Cell rings or cage matches or like just special rings for your wrestlers. It sounds so stupid, but look, I was just a kid and I loved toys, okay? I loved wrestling and I loved toys as a kid. I stopped watching wrestling in 2007, by the way, for anyone that was wondering. But basically, there was a rumor. There was a rumor that Toys R Us had every single wrestler. So like if you went to Toys R Us, you can buy wrestling action figures that you would never find in Walmart or Kmart or Walgreens. And it was just like unbelievable, you know? Because I used to actually play with the wrestlers. Like I used to set up matches. A lot of the most popular wrestlers weren't sold at Walmart or Kmart, so like I was missing my favorite wrestlers. So yeah, there was like these rumors that at Toys R Us you could buy any wrestling action figure, pretty much. And that was enough to beg my mom to take me to Toys R Us. There were so many wrestlers that you couldn't get, like Kane, like masked Kane. I really wanted him as a toy, couldn't find him anywhere. The Undertaker, you know, I really wanted the Undertaker. And like Rey Mysterio was my favorite wrestler, and I didn't even have like a good one. You know, there's just lots of wrestlers that like I really wanted. And then one day, I don't even know, like I don't even remember the occasion. Somehow, some way, my mom actually took me to Toys R Us. I still can't believe it to this day. Like I just saying that out loud. My mom, she's an example of someone that's stuck in this city. She really hates leaving this city. I don't know why, man. It's just a thing, like old people, I guess. But somehow she magically took me to Toys R Us. I don't even think it was for my birthday or Christmas. She just did it. Okay. Now I remember when I stepped through the doors, I was so happy. Like I remember being so happy. Like man, I could still feel it a little bit, you know. It was like magical. Like this fairy tale that I've just heard in rumors has finally become a reality, you know. It was kind of beautiful because just imagine, you know, remember the show Flapjack? You know how on Flapjack he's always obsessing over Candy Island, you know. You always just hear rumors of Candy Island. You never hear about anyone actually going there. That's how it was for me when I stepped into Toys R Us for the first time. I was like, wow, I'm actually here. Because like I said, like the nearest Toys R Us was like 2 cities away, so I've never even seen a Toys R Us. I've never even heard of anyone actually going to a Toys R Us, you know. So I'm finally at Toys R Us and I immediately look for the wrestling action figures. Now my mind was blown. Kid me, my mind exploded. They had so many wrestlers, so many wrestling action figures that I didn't have. And they weren't normal wrestling action figures. They were like actually good, like well-made action figures. And I remember each wrestler came with like a prop that the wrestler will wear. Like the Undertaker wrestling action figure came with like his hat. The Rey Mysterio came with like his mask. You know, things like that. So, and I remember my mom, she told me like, you can only pick 2 wrestlers. And I was just, man, kid me, just couldn't pick, man. There was just too many that I wanted. And I really can't even remember which wrestlers I picked, but I know I picked the Rey Mysterio, and I can't remember. Oh wait, I do remember. I picked the Rey Mysterio, and I picked the Kane, the masked Kane. You know, I was pretty much the happiest kid ever, and whenever I think about the happiest moments of my life ever, that is one of the moments that comes to mind, like my first time going to Toys R Us. And that is the only time I ever went to Toys R Us, and it's a really good memory. So the fact that they're closing down Toys R Us just makes me really sad. Like it honestly makes me sad because Toys R Us was just magical, you know, especially for kids. And I don't know if I don't know if my brain is messing with me, but I think I remember seeing that Pokemon machine that was rumored throughout the school. I think I remember the giant Pokemon computer where you can get literally any Pokemon you want for $1. I don't know if I actually saw the machine or if my brain is making this up and I saw this in a dream or something. Either way, Toys R Us was a magical experience for me. Toys R Us, you will be missed. I'm going to be going to Toys R Us one last time before it closes, and I'm going to vlog the experience. So here you go. Guys, we're here at the legendary place itself, City Mattress. No, I'm kidding. Toys R Us. We made it here somehow. Man, this fairy tale, dude. I haven't been to a Toys R Us in like, man, I don't even know. Probably like 10 years, man. That's crazy. This place, and look at all the signs on the walls, on the windows, going out of business, man. That's so sad. Oh man, I mean, I don't plan to buy anything, but maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Right off the bat, like, I don't remember Toys R Us being this huge. Like, there's so much shit, seriously. 20% off. Dude, Pokemon plushes are expensive, like seriously. $16. $16 for a plush. That's kind of, I mean, I'm used to it, but Pokemon plushes are usually like really expensive. Even 20% off, $16. Jeez. Man. Oh man. I want this portal gun. Seriously. Oh. I'm such a kid. Dude, Toys R Us is huge. I had no idea that Toys R Us was this huge. Man. Oh my god. Like literally there's so much. Like look how big this store is. Jeez. I don't even watch wrestling anymore. But see, this is what I'm talking about, like all the special rings, like stuff like this. Stuff like this used to get me so hype as a kid. So many wrestlers. They got, what the heck is this? A woman's edition? Randy Orton? Everything must go 20% to 40%, going out of business. So dramatic. So I figured out why this place is so big. I just crossed over into Babies R Us. I'm gonna look like a real weirdo if I get spotted over here, but doing it for you guys. Pink, so much pink. There's lots of people here. I still can't get over how big the store is. There's lots of moms here yelling at their children. Good times, good times, good times. So according to this paper, $60 games would be $48. That's kind of crazy, honestly. The owners are behind me, fuck. Flexing with the Apple Watch. Kind of want to buy this portal gun. Like, but there's no price for it anywhere. Like, this says freaking Charmander. Like, this isn't Charmander. So, I mean, if it's under $10, then I'm gonna buy it. If it's under $10. Let's see. With tax and everything, the portal gun comes out to $11. Just over my price range. Like, I'm gonna feel bad if I buy this for freaking $11. Like, I don't need it, it just looks cool. Okay.
Decided to get it?
Yeah. So like, is there, like, what's the main reason for Toys R Us shutting down?
Bankruptcy. They didn't have enough money to cover debts and stuff, so.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm such a bitch. I had to buy it because I kind of felt like I had to, you know? Because I came here, even though I'm cheap, you know, like, I did kind of want the portal gun. It was over my price range, but, you know, giant lizard. My boy. Honestly, man, it's the last time I'm ever gonna see a Toys R Us for a long time. It's probably gonna be the last time I've ever go inside of a Toys R Us, man. Sad times, sad times, sad times. Freaking finally got this thing open, like, geez. Like, so much work. But anyways, the portal gun, we did it. You have to have over 200 IQ to use this weapon. Man. I'd like to give a shout out and say thank you to GSPAE Pro for doing this quick drawing of this Wendys Fanart. It's amazing. So I'll put her video down in the description below. And thank you to Animations Vita for drawing me some Wendys Fanart as well. They're beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. I mean, even though the video was all over the place. Make sure to subscribe because I'll be making more videos where this came from. I'm Chillwil and I'm out.